Thanks for tuning in to MOT Today. We are live, and this is probably like the 21st episode. We lost track. We stopped doing the counting. But anyway, we have a lot to cover today. It's going to be a really good show. With me is Mick and James. They're the co-hosts of the show, and they also just started MOT Sports Backup, which is every Saturday at 9 p.m. Sometimes the time will vary, but that is what it is. We have families, we have a life outside of this too. But yeah, guys, so we have a really good topic for you guys today. Several topics actually. So yeah, let's get them started off with what's going on in the auto industry, because I think that's going to be the most pressing for everybody, since everybody pretty much has a car. So Mick, what's going on with that? Because that was a topic you really wanted to cover. You've been really passionate about that specific topic.
Yeah, I think the auto industry is in disarray. I used to be a mechanic. You used to be a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
We both have, and you've done other things too.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's a mechanic. My father-in-law is a mechanic. So, I have a pretty good idea of what's going on. And I know a lot of people who are mechanics too. And, there's a lot of things on back order for years, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. If you drive past the car lot that I, got my car from, or that we have our car serviced at, there's no Subarus on the lot. There's one or two.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I know the prices of used cars were going crazy lately.
Yep.
They're starting to come down, but I think things are going to get worse before they get better. And that's actually, I'm quoting the guy I just bought an air filter from the other day. So
yeah,
which me and my son are going to do that today. We're going to put it in the car today.
Nice. Going to be a good learning experience for your son. I'm sure he's excited about that.
Yeah, well, he doesn't even know yet.
Oh, he doesn't? Okay. Put him to work. There you go. Yeah, man, I agree with you. I know that we've talked about this a little bit. We've had a little bit of a disagreement in certain areas, but overall, I do agree with you that there is a struggle taking place. And I think it's primarily because we've outsourced all of our manufacturing, and that's a huge issue. This whole globalization of manufacturing, where it's like Toyota makes some parts, Mexico makes some parts, we make some parts, but no real country, as far as I know, is maybe China is the exception to the rule, but pretty much everything in the Western world is outsourcing a bunch of different parts to try to get it cheaper. And so that's a huge issue because of the supply chain restraints that are taking place right now because of the whole cough and sniffle stuff. Still have a little PTSD for saying even COVID online, but I guess you can now start saying it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues going on. And then you also there's a shortage with mechanics as well. I've worked in several different shops, and
it's not working.
Yeah. I've worked in several different shops, and that's a big issue is, getting mechanics.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been going on for a long, long time. I think personally it has a lot to do with the flat rate pay system, but
not everywhere pays that way though.
Yeah, not everywhere pays like that, but that has a lot to do with it. It's giving the industry a bad stigma to it, and but a lot of people just don't like working hard as well. So I mean,
that too.
There's multiple issues to it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's more of a theory rather than anything that I think that I think the prices of cars are going to go through the roof like crazy. Like people aren't going to be able to, afford a car.
Well,
more than, it already is.
Well, I think it's really going to depend. I think newer cars are going to be more unaffordable, but also I actually don't know. I really don't know, because I think we're going to see a big movement towards 3D printing, and that's going to bring back home manufacturing even more, I think. And that's going
as long as we make the 3D printers here. If they're not, if the
3D
printers are from China,
then then we're still relying on this global supply chain. But I think we're starting to see a movement, especially amongst the culture, to start bringing things back to the country. And that's really good. So I think that right now things are not so good in the automotive industry. However, you are seeing a lowering of prices in the used car market, specifically because prices are getting too high and they're tapping people out of the market. And so they have to reevaluate their pricing.
Yeah.
and make it so people will actually buy them. Because if nobody's buying them, it doesn't matter if the car is $12,000 for a $200,000, 200,000 mile van. If somebody isn't paying the $12,000 and that's the market value, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to go out of business as a used car dealer if you have them marked up so high.
Well, what if all the used car dealerships go out of business and then people are still going to buy and sell cars, though? I mean, they could still, in theory, go up. It's just only people would be selling them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, then you would just have a total private market, like gray market.
Like,
really.
if the car prices get so high combined with the price of fuel, it's like, what do you think?
Well,
James?
I read something that said with all these shortages and everything being on back order for so long, that several companies have, they're doing limited production now. Mm-hmm. So they'll only make so many vehicles instead of making hundreds of thousands just because they're waiting on parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also heard, we were talking about this earlier, that in Russia, they make most of the nickel and palladium. They have the most mines over there or something, or one of the most mines. They have some of the highest amounts. And since we have all the sanctions, we're not really getting all of that anymore. So they make the catalytic converters and stuff like that. And so that's going to start driving, I think, part prices up tremendously. But I don't know if that's really going to affect car. I don't know. It's very interesting because some people are saying that, we're entering into this inflationary period, but there's also really smart people that are making, I think, better arguments towards deflation. And so if deflation really kicks in, then the auto industry is going to feel it as well. Now, obviously, there are downsides to deflation, right? Because that means you're going to have people losing their jobs. You're not going to have as many people hiring. And so there's a whole slew of problems that come with deflation, but there's a lot of benefits to it as well. As prices become more affordable, your purchasing power increases as opposed to decreases. So I don't really know what's going to happen with the automotive market. I don't know if it's going to get better before it's worse. I don't know. There's just too many variables right now.
Yeah. What about stagflation? I mean, I've heard some people say that that's what's going to happen, which is where it's high inflation
and low jobs.
Well, that's pretty much what we're seeing. Well, it's not that we have there's a lot of jobs out there. There's just not people taking them.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know enough about stagflation. I'm looking it up right now. I mean, I know of it. So stagflation is characterized by slow economic growth and relatively high unemployment rate, or economic stagnation, which is at the same time accompanied by raising prices. Stagflation can be alternatively defined as inflation combined with decline in. So I don't really know.
It's just high inflation with a bad job market.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if that's really going to be the case because we have so many different job markets appearing right now that aren't accounted for.
I think stagflation basically means that the inflation, it's the second stage of inflation. You have it when the inflation starts to kick in.
Yeah, but think about Uber Eats and DoorDash. I don't know if they really account those drivers.
Oh yeah, they don't
in the employment. So and then you also have people who are full-time investors. Are they employed or are they not employed? And then you also have people that are in the crypto space, which is a totally gray market, and they have full-time jobs getting paid in crypto. So there's a whole new economy being built right now. Freelancers, how are they looked at? There's a bunch of freelancers. So if you own your own business, are you technically employed? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. So I don't think that the issues are going to be, stagflation, because there's so many other ways you can be employed right now. I mean, James has an awesome hustle that he does with paintings. I mean, that's really cool idea. You go to these different thrift stores and find old paintings, get them appraised. The next thing you know, you spend $20 and you can get hundreds of dollars off of them. So there's many ways to make money right now. So I don't know that I don't know if I agree with stagflation, but I'm not an economist either.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I was just saying that, my phone's lagging, and so we can't read the comments. We may have a bunch of comments, so I don't know if you want to move the TikTok over. Okay. Sorry, right now we can't see your comments on TikTok, because we're just my phone's lagging. I think I went over on my dad. I'm gonna have to do something about that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, we're all starting off. We're gonna get everything together. It's just gonna take a little bit of time.
So
I think this is episode 20 almost. I think I said last week it was episode 20, but this is like.
But technically,
I'm not
this
sure.
is
I have to count.
this is only the second episode inside of our studio here.
Yes.
So
right. So yeah, and then there was this article going back to the whole vehicle auto industry.
Yeah.
There's this article Mick shared. Can't see the whole thing because you got to pay for it. Those bastards. Let's see.
And then there was another article I saw too. It said like the auto industry sales were down 17% in April. That's kind of crazy. So that may have to do with why the prices went down.
yeah, I don't know. I believe this is the first time that an American car company outsold a foreign car company.
Really?
Yeah, from
What
what
American car company?
GMC.
Okay.
From what I was reading, GMC outsold.
Probably because they can't get shit.
Yeah,
Like
and
the Subarus.
yeah, number 2 was Toyota. Toyota. Of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm thinking correctly, this is the first time in a long time that American-made car actually sold better than foreign.
Look it up.
Nice. Yeah, you could look it up. And this is the article here. Everybody on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch can see this, but nobody else can. So it says, Rivian executive departs in management shuffle. The reorganization calls for splitting the commercial business, which includes delivery vans made for Amazon from retail of the company. So tell us a little more about this article because we can't see much on it since it's
Rivian's been struggling a lot
paywall.
lately. That's the Rivian is working with Amazon. Actually, Amazon has a stake in them, I believe, and they are supposed to be making like electric trucks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But their stock has plummeted. They've admitted that they're not going to make nearly as many vehicles that they were originally going to because of supply chain problems like the nickel and the lithium and all the other precious metals and whatnot, or rare earth elements. And so, yeah, they have a shuffle in the in their management because they're struggling. So I think you might see this in other. All throughout the industry.
My last statement was false. I'm sorry. Toyota actually outsold GM for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, since 1931.
Wow. That's
So I must have. I don't know what happened
Are
there.
you a little dyslexic?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's not cool, really. But I mean, what does it matter at this point?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Seriously. So, yeah, there's a lot going on with the auto industry. We'll see exactly how it works out.
Well, my big thing was the auto industry is not just any ordinary industry. Like, it literally is the backbone of the country. Everybody has to drive. We're so fast-paced. That's what makes us the strongest economy, in my opinion. That's what makes the money move so fast and all that shit. So, like, if the auto industry collapses, which I'm not saying it will, but, you never know, that I think that would cause like a Great Depression. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I think it's like literally the most important industry in our nation.
That's a good point that you bring up. When I worked for a warranty company, we sold extended warranties, and I was a claim adjuster there. And a lot of the warranties that we would sell were on vehicles that had subprime loans. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with subprime loans, but they're what essentially collapsed the housing market back in 2008. So basically, they're getting like horrible interest rates, and anybody could get them. And they're just garbage loans, like garbage loans with extremely high interest rates. And anyway, so there's a lot of that going on in the auto industry. And I found out about this like back in 2000, what would it be, like 2018. And I had my suspicions about that because I knew that in 2008, subprime mortgage loans caused the collapse of the housing market. So I was like, are these subprime loans going to cause a collapse of the auto industry? And if there is a collapse in the auto industry, how would that look? Like
gas prices would probably go down, right? I don't know.
Would people start getting horse and buggies?
Well, that's what I've been talking about. Yeah.
Or just getting Heelys?
I'm a psycho, yeah. Horse and buggies, man. I really do think that would help. Like, we don't need all this bullshit travel anyway. Like, we need to just chill. I don't know.
No, people need to travel for work and.
Yeah, well, arguably, I think I know where Mick's coming from because I don't think it's natural to have to travel an hour, 20, 30 minutes in a car or something like that to go to work. I think it's more natural to work in your village, your city, your town, where you can go walk to work, or if you wanted to go home on your lunch break or have your wife bring you lunch on your, like, all those things would be feasible. Like, so, our society is structured in such a way where, yes, you are correct, we do need a vehicle. But I understand where you're coming from as well, just like with the horse and buggy idea. Yeah, some people may like it, a lot of people won't like it. And ultimately, you're not going to get back to a society where you have horse and buggies unless, like, World War III breaks out, nuclear fallout, all that BS takes place, and then we have to rebuild. But who knows? Even then, you'd probably still have some cars. I mean, look at Mad Max.
Yeah.
So is there any relief in sight? Do you guys think?
The guy that sold me my $30 air filter said that it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I don't know. And there was like one car in the lot. I'm like, how the hell is it going to get worse? So
it's already been 2 years?
Yeah,
we've been experiencing this.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to have to just readjust the auto industry as a whole, how dealerships do business. You're going to get less amenities. So I don't think it's really going to be that bad, in all honesty. The same way I don't think the food shortages, especially here in America, are going to be that bad.
You're just going to get shittier cars, just like they're giving you shittier food and less of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, not necessarily. I think that it's actually going to be kind of the opposite. Like, you're not going to get as many shitty foods in that regard, and you're not going to get as many, like, these unnecessary luxuries in your vehicle. Like we were just talking about, you may not be able to have the automatic window
navigation.
You may not have navigation, but you have your smartphone. And guess what? If you don't have that, you can always go back and get one of those TomTom GPSs.
That's another thing.
Or just a regular road map.
Or just a road map. So, I mean, like, I think the biggest issue is going to come from people probably in my generation, maybe your guys' generation too. I know you guys are a little bit older than me. But primarily my generation, younger, are going to really feel the effects of it, because I've grew up with computers all my life. As far as I can remember, there's always been a computer around. And so those luxuries are really nice. And then also, I've always been alive in a time, I think we all have, where there's been 7 days a week grocery stores. But if you go back to the 50s and 40s, that didn't exist. The 7 days a week grocery stores, they weren't open 24 hours a day, even the days that they were open.
Well, shit, now they're not either. Like, you can't, Walmart's not open 24/7, or we're reverting back.
Exactly. So I don't think it's going to really be that bad. I think it's just going to be really hard for people to adjust their lives. So I don't think that's what I think. And that's what I think is going to happen with the auto industry. You're not going to have as many fancy cars, but you're going to have what you need.
Yeah. And I actually just thought of this. I'm like thinking about it more. Maybe it's not just going to be auto industry. Maybe it's like everything electrical, like computers, all that.
Because of the semiconductors. But we're trying to bring that back. Like, they're trying to make Columbus.
But it's going to take years.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 10 years, 5 years. But maybe by the same time, that we can, like, before there's like a major collapse, you have something taking over. And it doesn't mean that there won't be shortages still. There's probably going to be shortages for years to come. But I don't think there's going to be a big collapse. And I think it's mostly going to be people who like to wear fancy pants and have their lollipops that are really going to freak out about not being able to go get a fucking honey bun at 3:00 in the morning when they're high or drunk or something. I think that's going to be the big issue. Or somebody who's like, I just busted my ass. I make 6 figures a year. I want to drive a Lincoln with top tier equipment. And now I can't do that because of those Chinese people won't give me my semiconductors or something like that. I think those are the people that are going to have the biggest issues. But those that are more grounded to reality are going to be like, it is what it is. Like, I don't need the navigation system. I don't need that. I can go back to the hand. I was driving just a couple of years ago. I was driving like a 2004 Ford Focus with hand crank windows. Yeah. Like, that ain't even an issue, man. Like,
so it's never. I don't think the auto industry is going to collapse, but or if it does, it'll get right back up. It's never going to go away because
unless our society completely changes.
Yeah,
which
there's always going to be, not everybody's going to do the same thing. So there's always going to be segments of society, just like the Amish don't use
100%
vehicles. So that's pretty much all I had to say about that.
Yeah. Got anything you want to add to that, James?
Yeah, you're always trying to buy a new car. What are you looking into?
What
now?
you mean? I'm driving a '99 Yukon out there. Hey, as long as the thing gets me from point A to point B, that's all I need.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a new car right now, but we have another one on the way, and right now we just have the Subaru Impreza. So you only have the 3 seats in the back, which we may be able to squeeze a car seat in the middle there, but God willing, we'll have more children, so it's like, why not just get like a minivan or something now? But don't need anything fancy, just need something to get the job done. 3-seater or 3 rows, like 8 seats. So if anybody knows anybody selling a van in Ohio, let me know. But yeah, so that's what's going on in the auto industry. There's a couple other things that we want to cover here, but James, let's go over to you, man, because you had one that you wanted to cover that can lead us into a much bigger discussion as well. It's revolving around gun laws, specifically in Ohio.
Yeah. So on February, on June 13th, Ohio is going to, well, actually, a gun law is going into effect. Something called a constitutional carry, where you do not need to go get a CCW to carry a concealed firearm on you. Ohio will be the 23rd state to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can drive with it.
Not in the school zone.
Well, so you got to like turn around.
Yeah. So like, what if you're going near a school zone? Do you have to go around?
The laws are still, I don't know. From what I'm reading, there's a lot of confusion still in there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing like originally. You can't even drive through a school zone with
not if it's loaded and concealed on you.
Okay.
Like,
what if you're a police officer?
Well, of course you're allowed.
The hypocrisy.
Yeah. There is something in here that kind of got me iffy about it. So as of right now, whenever a cop walks up to your car, if you get pulled over, you have to tell him that you are carrying a concealed weapon. After this law passes, you no longer have to do that. It's up to the officer to ask you if you're carrying a weapon.
Well, they should just assume everybody is anyway, so I think that whole thing was kind of pointless anyway. The only people that are going to lie are going to be criminals, right?
Yeah.
So,
but businesses and stuff still have the right to permit firearms inside their establishments.
Mm-hmm. Or you mean turn away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
how would they know if it's concealed, though?
I don't know. You get caught with it, whatever the penalty for that is.
I think a lot of businesses will just put that up just as like a liability thing. Like, we don't let people have guns in here. That way, in case they do shoot up the place, they're not going to get in trouble because they're like, they encourage guns or something.
Well, Governor DeWine signed this bill due to like crime in Ohio, like homicides, robberies.
He said he signed it because
of crime. Yeah. And he wants Ohioans to be able to stand their ground and defend themselves.
He's really just trying to get reelected.
Yeah,
he's just trying to win back his base because he did such a horrible job during the whole pandemic. I think that's really the issue here. I don't know.
But it's good though. I mean,
I don't know.
Don't you? I mean, I thought you said we reported on.
Yeah, I know we have. I've thought about this quite a bit, and I don't really know. I mean, I don't think it's bad to have some gun regulations because I don't want everybody to be able to have a gun, and I don't want everybody to be able to conceal carry.
Yeah. I mean, there's still people who aren't allowed to get guns. There's lists.
Yeah.
But you can buy a gun from a private seller.
This is true too.
Yeah, but you were always able to do that.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
the criminals are going to break the laws anyway.
So I mean, I get the argument that like, hey, there's criminals. They're not going to tell you that they have a gun on them. But you, the law-abiding citizen, have to have this license, which can be registered through the government. And now you're in a government database because you have you have your concealed weapons license, but also you're already in a government database because you went to go buy a gun in the first place. Anyway, but the criminal, not a private dealer,
yeah.
But with the criminal, obviously they're not going to do any of that unless they go buy it from the store, but they're probably going to get it on the street somehow, and they're going to conceal it. So I can understand why you would want to pass a law like this.
And this is only for handguns. It's not for long guns or anything like that.
Yeah, but you can't conceal that.
I mean, if you have a trench coat.
Yeah, you could. I mean, but I would still highly, suggest to go get some kind of training.
For sure.
I wouldn't suggest that somebody just pick up a gun and put it on their hip and, that has no experience with it.
You got to put ammo in it first. They might they might not know.
Well, I did. I personally went out and got a firearm because I heard that this law is going into effect. I have not messed with it. I had my buddy who
So we need to go to the shooting range.
Well,
We
my
should
buddy.
go to the shooting range.
We
Yeah, yeah.
should.
I have a 12 gauge. I haven't shot yet.
We should. We should all
Yeah.
go right before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Get our
See,
testosterone.
with me personally, I won't carry that until I get, comfortable with it and I know how to use it.
Yeah.
You know what I want
Have
to
you
do?
taken it apart and cleaned it? You got to do that. You should do that tonight if you haven't.
I haven't done that. either.
It's good just to, you know
It was
how it
cleaned
works.
before I bought it, and
Well,
I haven't
yeah,
shot it.
I'm just saying that's what I did before I went out and shot mine for the first time. You don't have
Yeah.
to, but
Clean
Well, at
it
least
afterwards.
know how it works and everything. Get an idea of how it works.
yeah.
I've been around when
I
people
need to
clean
do it
guns.
again.
Like I grew up in the country, so I grew up shooting guns and stuff like that. I just haven't done anything with my 12 gauge. I haven't shot it yet or anything.
But what do you guys think about all these people that?
I'm trying to get.
I'm sure that there's already a crap ton of people already carrying guns.
Yeah.
But this, after this goes into effect, you do, like you just said, Mick, you got to assume that everybody that you see that is, looks 21 or older
Yeah.
is legally carrying a firearm.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just assume that not everybody's crazy, and then I feel comfortable.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's a bold assumption. I tend to think a lot of people are crazy.
Actually, I think we're all crazy. That's what makes us normal. But
That doesn't make any sense.
Or I think we're all weird, and that's what makes us normal.
Yeah.
That
We're
doesn't
all
make any sense.
I don't know. I've always said that. Like I feel like we're all weird. You know how someone's like, "You're weird. You're weird." Well, yeah, everybody's weird. And that's what
Everybody
makes us
has their
normal.
little quirks, yeah, for
that's
sure.
that's what makes you you.
But as far as like me being concerned that someone's gonna freak out and kill me, like I mean, they could have already done this before the law passed. if they're
Yeah,
crazy. So it's
yeah.
like I just
It's
assume that not everybody's just gonna flip out and.
Well, do you guys think that this is really actually going to deter crime? If somebody who's going
For
to rob
sure.
a
Well, I'm
place,
about
is
to start
thinking,
carrying my gun more for real. Like now
I mean,
that this is a law, I might as well.
not until the 13th.
There's already like a big correlation between cities that have stricter gun laws and they have higher gun violence. So I do think that there also, I believe, have been studies done showing that areas that burglar or criminals know that the homeowner or the person has a weapon on them, they're less likely to commit any kind of crime towards them because they don't want to die. So I do think that it will help deter crime. However, I believe that there will be some big narrative push, especially as we're seeing with this whole mass shooting stuff, to try and demonize the states that have legalized just constitutional carrying. So I think that's going to be the bigger issue. So there's going to be probably more false flag events in these states, and they're going to try to deter states from doing it because you have almost half the country that's going along with it, and that goes against the agenda. So that's what I think the real issue is. I don't think that crime's going to like go skyrocketing. I think it's probably going to level out, go down, but then there's going to be false flag events to try and take away your constitutional carry, especially as they try and chip away at the Second Amendment. That's what I think the real issue is going to be with these laws.
Yeah, if a Democrat comes in, they'll be like, Mike DeWine messed up. We got to switch it back.
Doesn't even matter if it's a Democrat because Mitch McConnell and several Republicans are now calling for these strict red flag. I mean, Dan Crenshaw, the gay pirate in Congress.
Well, that's the new thing. It's like the mass media tells you what's the next thing I should care about. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, and this is the new thing that you should care about, even though there is almost 8 billion people on the planet supposedly, and about every second 2 people die supposedly. So now they're all worried because 20 people died. I mean, it's tragic, but if you look at the
allegedly, as I've been saying on the Honest Hour forever, allegedly, we don't even know if any of this is true to begin with. None of us were there.
Yeah,
they lie all the time. They have the legal right to lie and push propaganda in the media per the Smith-Mutt Act. Per the Smith-Mutt Act, they are allowed to propagandize.
When was this?
2012.
2012. Oh, wow. So it's new. So that does make sense. That was like right when Trump got elected or right around when Trump got elected.
2012.
Well, yeah,
Barack
2016 was.
Yeah.
That was right around the same time.
But
as the last,
he was his whole thing was
shoot.
he was running on the media is corrupt and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
you were going to say something though. You had something to add to this.
That was right around the time of the Sandy Hook shooting. I believe right after.
Well, if they made that right around then why the hell is Alex Jones? Why did he get in trouble if the media is allowed to lie? You're only allowed to lie about the certain thing.
He's controlled opposition. That's Alex Jones. He's controlled opposition.
Yeah.
So that's why they just have this whole thing. They have to, as polarity, man. There's a battery, there's a positive and a negative. So then you have to have something to get people hooked.
Yeah.
And so people who are for the mainstream media, who are brainwashed, look at him as a villain. But then there's a subset of truthers who look at Alex Jones as a hero. So then what do you get? You get this battle between the masses. It's just the same thing that they do. It's the same thing they do with racism. It's the same thing
they do with everything.
Everything.
They want to divide us as much as possible.
Yeah.
So the law says that basically, like, you can't sue the media company, right?
No, it says that the government has the legal right to fund motion pictures, films, audio, and video to influence public opinion for political agendas.
And what's an example of that, you feel?
I mean, pretty much anything in the news, because where are they getting their information? They're getting their information from the government. So I just assume everything in the media is a lie.
Okay, so that just says that the government is allowed to
fund.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. So it doesn't say that you're allowed to lie, though. Because if they said that,
it does. It does. It implies it, because they're saying that you can push a political agenda.
Okay. But only if it's the government, though.
If it's government funded.
Okay.
And
we need to get some government funding.
We do know that the Department of Defense has a liaison for Hollywood motion pictures. So they have somebody to go between and coordinate movies with the Department of Defense. This has been going on for years. This is nothing new.
Yeah, I'm surprised they even made a court ruling on that. You would think it's just like they just do it, right? I mean,
and how many people heard of it? Of that court ruling? this is the first I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I finally saw one, but my phone's so jacked up. This is the Soy Boy Convention.
What the hell is that?
From Quan Jenkins.
Oh, is that the dude who just keeps trolling in our comments? I mean, we'll bring some raw liver down here and I'll smash it. Give me some raw cow balls. I'll eat some raw cow balls.
We'll chant you on.
Yeah.
Eat those balls.
Yeah.
Eat those balls.
I'm not going to do that.
That's the first time ever been called the soy boy. Usually they have very high voices.
It says, okay, so it's working a little bit better ever since I reset my phone.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, it's there's a lot of corruption going on, and with that law specifically, it just shows you that you should be skeptical of anything that is in the media, anything whatsoever. Just like this whole mass shooting here, as I've been saying on the Honest Hour for a while, like, we need to wait 3 days at least to see what the narrative has been built on. And now we know there's nothing but confusion. Nothing but confusion.
Yeah. I haven't even looked at it, man.
I think there's a connection between the Buffalo shooter and this guy, FBI groomers, which I talked about on the show way before it was mainstream.
Yeah.
I talked about it like the first day it happened.
We need to do an in-depth report on 9/11. No,
like, dude,
that's old.
I don't think it's. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I
don't believe it at all. I don't believe it one bit.
I don't know.
Just the Buffalo one, or what about the Texas one?
I don't believe either of them. I actually watched the video for the Buffalo one.
So you don't believe that? I mean, it actually happened, or
no? I don't think.
And this is a very sensitive topic. That
I know.
Like, we should probably.
I know. Be careful. I'm just gonna say this: it is being used to drive mass consciousness in a particular direction, and that direction is to do away with guns. As far as the Buffalo shooting, let's just say I watched the video and there was a woman, I won't go into too much detail, who was lying on the floor, and he was right next to her with his gun, pulls the trigger right at her head. Anybody who's ever seen anything like in real life get killed, or on a video on like Pescore or something, like, you get shot in the head. What happens? What's the first thing that you'll see?
Blood.
Yeah.
No blood. None. Zero blood in any of that video. Also, where are the brains? You shot her right in the freaking head. Where are her brains? Why isn't her head looking like a watermelon? Didn't look like it at all.
I haven't watched the video yet.
Looked normal. No blood anywhere.
Have to watch it tonight.
Yeah, and like Nick said, it's very controversial. The school.
I think that's what got Mr. Jones the axe hammer.
It is, but hey, if people want to come to that'll blow us up. So let's do it. I'm all for the controversy.
Well, he was big before that. So.
He was. I'm saying that's what could blow us up. Like, I'm just being honest. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said about the government funded being able to push agendas.
Yeah.
Do you think? I don't know. People who come out and they try and say that kind of stuff doesn't happen. You are labeled like
crazy.
Yeah. and going back to what you said about the pushing the agenda, do you think it could be because they made it little kids because it would be kind of hard to try and say something like that?
Well, I think they're going to just
crazier.
No, you're going to weaponize women. That's what I think is really going to happen because men have a better ability at looking at the bigger picture. Like we can detach ourselves. Like I haven't looked at any of those children and been like, "Oh my God." But I know
men seem to be more like conspiratorial or just I don't even really like that word. They're more they think about things more.
Yeah, it's more of like because we're the ones, for example, like we're built to lead like a family, a tribe, whatever, and so we have to think more than just like our little network of people. We can't get so like attached to it. So we have to think much broader. It's just natural for men to do that. So I think it's weaponizing specifically women, because if you look at that NRA convention the protesting that took place outside of the NRA, nothing but women were screaming at them, calling them murderers. So it's to weaponize the female voters. That's really what it's aimed at, and the soy boys.
Well, yeah.
For somebody to lie about something like that, even the U.S. government,
it happens all the time. They do it. Operation Northwood. They were planning on this is all like we'll look it up.
Well,
this is
dude. It makes sense to weaponize the women because in a lot of relationships, the woman will be like, "This is the way." You don't want to piss off the woman because then
happy wife, happy life.
Don't agree with that. That's all bull. That's some gay ass shit, man.
I don't really agree with that either, man, because like you control your own happiness. Like, you shouldn't depend on me for you to be happy, but I'm going to do the best I can to make you happy.
So, yeah, well, we can talk about that a little bit more, but I want to share this right here because James seems to be mind blown that this is even possible. But
I think about that kind of stuff, but it's just that's how I feel. You got to be a nasty, sick person.
Are you ready for this? Have you ever heard of Operation Northwoods?
No, I haven't.
So this is the bullet points for it. So it's Operation Northwoods, proposed top secret plan from 1962, stating intent among the Joint Chief of Staff to stage terrorist attacks, including killing innocent civilians to provoke war with Cuba. Proposals included using drone aircraft to stage foreign attacks on U.S. soil, guys, on U.S. citizens. The U.S. government.
Operation Northwood, wow.
Yeah. Staging hijacks, staging attacks on U.S. vessels and facilities, staging riots, as well as the creation of terror campaigns on U.S. soil.
9/11.
Someone's waving. They're waving. Hi. Or wait. Yeah, that's on Facebook. Hi. That's what they're going to say as they're dropping the bombs on U.S. civilians.
So I mean, it is. These things are true, man. Like,
they'll do anything.
Evil's real. Evil is real.
Well, yeah, I've seen studies that the U.S. did back in the day on like the video of the housewife on LSD, how they slowly drugged her just to see how she would react.
So
that's just nuts.
I don't buy it. I don't buy the shooting. I've come to that conclusion. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I can't prove it. I can't actually prove it. But just all the information that's coming out, my instincts,
I just had a good idea.
Tells me no.
We should hook up the TikTok to the projector for the comments.
And then we could see the comments down there.
That would be dope.
Yeah, we can do that next time.
Then I'll start saying some crazy shit and it'll be right above our head.
Right. But
the metaverse.
Yeah.
You can't get killed in the metaverse. Well, not in real life.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I mean your character can get killed in the metaverse.
And then how sad would you be? Then you're like, life doesn't even matter. I was killed in the metaverse.
Well, like if you were like Ready Player One, like if you died in Ready Player One.
I have not watched that movie yet. I'm Amish. Yeah, if you guys couldn't tell, I support the buggy movement, the horse and buggy.
I'm getting a phone call. My cousin. He works for. Yeah, he's probably telling me, hey, they're watching you.
gosh. He's like, you shouldn't have done that.
Right. Like, bro, are you serious? They're coming for you. Good. Bring it. Just kidding.
No, I'm not really Amish. I just don't. I don't watch much TV and stuff. Like I am really, I don't know, busy as fuck all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, so switching over topics now because we got kind of heavy there. Some people are not going to like that segment of the show. It is okay. I mean, hey,
Hey, we all
if you can't,
yeah, we can all voice our opinions though.
Everybody knows where the unfollow button is. Everyone knows where the
and I
follow
mean,
button is.
hey, if you're so brainwashed, go ahead. Like I'm tired of pretending that the people who actually have clear vision are the crazy ones. You're not. We're not. You're the crazy ones. You're crazy for thinking this system is good and helping you.
You at least have to have an open mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was getting at with my statements towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for that, having an open mind, has always been frowned upon. I mean, it wasn't Plato or Aristotle, like locked in a cave or something crazy like that, or something.
No, it's called Plato's Cave. So it's an allegory. He's talking about like.
But wasn't one of them? I swear I thought one of those great thinkers or whatever back then was shunned for his thoughts.
Yeah, I think Socrates was killed or something.
That's what it was, Socrates.
Can I say one more thing about the shooting? Did you guys hear what the shooter's mom came out and said? It was pretty disgusting.
No.
You should have been swallowed.
No, she said something
This is why we need abortion.
She said something along the lines of, there was a reason why my son did it. He has his reasons. And the only people that she wants to forgive her are the kids.
So I heard that he was bullied. I mean, I don't know.
But then you hear other people that say that he wasn't bullied and that he was actually the bully. He would kill animals, pick fights.
We're getting back to the thing.
Shot his grandma in the face.
Man,
allegedly.
Did you guys see a lot of bullying in school?
And then she lived.
When I was in school, dude, there was this one kid.
And then she died.
The teachers wouldn't do shit when this kid would get bullied. Like you would think to say, and I know, I guess maybe they don't want to like make the kid look like a wussy. Like,
just don't send your kids to public school systems. They're a prison system anyway. Like it's disgusting. I don't know why. Like take the economic hurt if you have to as a family to say, you know what, I'm going to homeschool your kid. I feel very strong on that.
I got a different view on that one. I believe letting your kid go to public school lets them get ready for their future.
I think it lets them prepare. It shows them how crazy and insane people are. It doesn't help them at all. It actually lowers their level of social skills. And the reason I say that is you develop your social anxiety through what? Through the public school system. You develop your depression through what? Through your peer groups and your social. It's insane. It doesn't help. In my opinion, I feel very strongly on this, and there's actually a lot of data to back this up. I think it's actually more detrimental to send your kids to public schools, even private schools, because their education's subpar. The kids there, what kind of environment do they live in? What kind of home do they come from? What kind of shit are they showing your kids? When did you guys first get I got exposed to porn when I was 12 years old in middle school from my middle school friends. I didn't know what porn was until then. So no, I don't agree with like the whole social interaction at public schools is good for the kids. I think it shows them a total corrupt and insane world, and it makes them more susceptible to the brainwashing and to become more a part of the masses, because then they want to fit in with the kids, because then they go through this phase where they're like, oh, the cool kids are doing this, I want to do this. And the cool kids are usually pushing some propaganda that they watch through the movies, through the TV shows, through their brainwashed parents, and then they're getting fed garbage food all day, disgusting food all day.
Yeah,
it's just a horrible environment. And then you're teaching them to be subordinate to bullshit authority.
Yeah, but like in my case, me personally, and me and my wife, with our kids, we straight up tell them, don't ever try and change yourself to fit in with other people. Parenting has a lot to do with it also.
I mean, I learned a lot of shit in school too. I mean, you're right, dude. You can definitely homeschool. I mean, do you agree that you can homeschool and make it work right?
I think homeschooling is the way to go. I think it's the most natural thing to do. I think our jobs as parents is to educate your children. Yeah. I think the biggest mistake we made as a country is outsourcing our education, because then guess what? The school system, they're atheist. They're agnostic. They'll teach your children how to masturbate. They're doing that right now. They'll send drag queens to your school and have them read to your preschoolers. They're doing it now. They're teaching your kids about LGBTQ. Why would you teach your kids about that? Why would you let somebody else tell your children what sex is? No, like those things are so unnatural and disgusting. Like the role of a parent is to educate your child, and your children want to be with you more than anything. And we realize
they really do. They really do.
realize this when they're really young. When they're really, really young, it's so obvious to see that your kid just wants to spend all their time with you. They want to do everything you're doing. But then we have this society where it's like, well, now you're at this age, so now you got to go and do your own thing. But why do you think kids cry on their first days of school? It's because they don't want to be away from their parents. You're leaving them in a room full of strangers. It's traumatizing and dramatic. It doesn't help the kid. I think it damages the kid greatly to do that, to leave them. It's showing them that you're willing to abandon them and leave them with strangers. And then they eventually get used to it. And it's eventually normal, as we have right now. I think the most natural thing for parents to do and for kids is to be, it doesn't matter how smart you think you are, how dumb you think you are. You can teach your kid how to function in the world the way they need to. They don't like, I feel very passionate about
But
this.
going to the public school helps them get set for what is the world out there.
It doesn't, though. It shows them that they're just brainwashing in the world.
But that's why you're there. You can also teach your kid your beliefs, and you can structure your kid also.
How many hours a day do your kids spend at home, during the school year?
Whenever they get out of school.
To when they go to sleep, right? So let's say they get out of school at 3, they go to sleep at 10.
Yep,
spending 7 hours here. But then they're spending all of their day at school. They're spending equal amount of time at school. So then you really have to be enforcing those beliefs the whole time. And then what if they're hanging around like people who don't have those beliefs?
Why'd you point at me, bro? I'm just well, hey, let me say something. Like, so for people that homeschool, and you're saying that he was saying that regular schools too, and get them ready for the real world. And you're like, it's not.
I don't agree with that.
But so that is the real world. I mean, there's multiple the world. There's more to it, but I mean, what the fuck are they gonna do for a living?
Showing.
Okay, well, how do you prepare them for that fake world as a homeschooling parent? Like, what's your plan to do that?
Easy. You just cater to their skill set. You cater to their skill set. So,
well, when they get introduced to these, different, like, I don't know, taboo things or things that
easy. That's why the
other than porn,
so
like, what are some examples of
that's
smoking?
That's why the homeschooling is so important. Is because then you can sort of prevent them from seeing the bullshit, and then if they go throughout most of their life without seeing a lot of that bullshit, they're going to be less susceptible to falling for the bullshit. Because guess what? Whether people like to hear this or not, everybody has a program. And right now, I firmly believe if your kids are in public school system, this public school system programming is more stronger than the programming you can do at home. I think that 9 times out of 10, that's the case. There's going to be your exceptions to the rule. Maybe your family's the exception to the rule, and that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that was something I was gonna say is like, I look at myself and I think I'm doing okay, and I mean,
I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying. That people who go to public school aren't going to do well in life. You can financially do well in life. I'm saying that you become more susceptible to the propaganda, to the brainwashing, to fitting in with society, and that's wrong. That's wrong because society is backwards. It's totally backwards.
So you're saying that it's you can be successful and.
I'm saying,
and not be brainwashed as well going through the system, but you give your child a much better advantage if they're
100%. Every homeschool kid I know, and I know a lot of homeschool kids, they're the most respectful children I have ever met. They're the most respectful, most kind, most polite, and on top of that, they seem to have, I don't know if they have higher IQs or if they're just more knowledgeable, but every homeschool kid I know is much smarter than every public school kid I can remember going to school with, and every public school kid that I've interacted with. I can't say everyone because I haven't. Yeah, I mean there can be exceptions to the rules. To that again,
you've talked to my kids.
Yeah, I haven't associated with them as much as I have with the other homeschool kids either, because we used to go to a church where everybody was homeschooled, and then I have an aunt and uncle who homeschool their children, and their children are the best children I've ever seen. They're most respected, most knowledgeable. And so, obviously there's exceptions to the rule. There's really smart kids who go to public school. So there's a caveat for everything I'm saying. But I really, really think that the best education is at home and instilling your program into your children.
Oh.
That's the role as a family, is to instill your belief system into your children.
And I do that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, good for you, man. You know, like I said, your family could be the exception, and that's awesome if they are. That means you guys are really strong in your beliefs. You're really strong in, you know, your order at home, and you know that's awesome. That's really awesome. But I think most people, unfortunately, are incapable of doing that when they send their kids to public school.
Now, I get it. All right, whenever you're saying public school, but that, like, if your parents really don't care about you, and you know they don't spend time with you, they don't give a shit what you do, then I could see how a public school system could change your kid, because they're getting no kind of support or anything at home, so they're taken from everybody at school.
And that's most home life. What people don't realize, most parents look at their children as burdens. How many times have you heard, "Oh, my life, I wish I didn't have kids. You know, I wish I didn't have kids as early. Oh man, my kid, I can't do this because of my damn kids." I heard that all the time growing up from adults. It's fucking disgusting.
No, the first time I hear that out of somebody's mouth, I look at them a completely different way.
Exactly. I agree with you. So that's what sets you apart from the majority of people. The majority of people, unfortunately, look at their kids as a burden. And it's very, very sad. That's the programming of society. You know, when somebody gets pregnant now, it's like, oh, your life is over. I can't tell you how many times my wife and I were told that from other people. Like, oh, well, you better enjoy your freedom while you can. It's disgusting. That's the programming. And so most kids, you are right. If the family doesn't have like strong love, strong ties, then the public school system is very damaging. But even if you do, I think it still has, there's pros and cons with everything. You know, so great for you that you have such a strong love and family. You know, I see it when I come here. You guys are all very, very nice, very loving. I can feel the love in the home. So it's awesome, man. It's awesome. You know, can feel it. But
yeah, sorry to make that a bigger.
No, I'm glad. No, don't apologize, man.
But that's what we do on here, right?
This is a good topic, and a lot of people, I think, need to hear these conversations and really hear it out without somebody like getting upset and getting angry. You know, so I think that's something that a lot of people can't experience these days through media, through anything, really. Everybody is so sensitive. And that's a big issue. That's a big issue. So, you know, and I think the way to bring back, you know, a more holistic society is for, you know, in my opinion, parents to really educate their children, to take that responsibility back, because it is your responsibility as a parent to educate your child. You know, that's my. It's not even just a belief. I think it's a fact. Like, you were gifted that child. You were blessed with that child. You taught them how to walk. You taught them how to speak. You're teaching them how to read. You can teach them how to do everything else, too, that they need to do. And I think that they would be much better off for it, in my opinion, because they're going to get constant love and attention. And that's all kids want, is love and attention. Not saying that, once again, obviously there are exceptions to the rule. And I truly believe your family's an exception to the rule. 100%. I mean that sincerely. But there's just a lot, like, I don't know. There's just no love and intent. Like, this whole thing, too, with, like, wanting to arm teachers, I think that's fucking insane. I would not trust a public school teacher with a weapon at school. First off, like, another reason I don't think people should send their kids to public school is because most of the pedophilia and child abuse happens at public schools. Fact. Everybody wants to say it's Catholic schools, religion. It's actually public school systems have the most rapes, most sexual assault allegations, most child abusers, most groomers. It's disgusting. And so why would you trust that facility that produces and brings in those kind of people to protect your children with a firearm? That to me is insane.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I was a kid, I don't remember anybody getting raped or anything at school. So I don't know, maybe. Do you guys remember anything?
No.
Yeah, I mean, there was allegations going around in my school.
Not sending my kid there.
And just because you didn't hear them doesn't mean they didn't happen. Maybe you weren't in that social group.
That's true. You know, maybe they were reported later or something. Or
yeah.
Or I didn't hear everything. Yeah.
And really, they just prey on typically, you know, weak families, weak homes, especially if there's no father around. Those typically are the homes that those predators prey upon.
Well, the good thing is in the metaverse you can't get molested.
Well, that's
Yeah,
not
you
true.
can.
That's not true. There's a lot of women nowadays coming out. This is, we're going to talk about the metaverse a little more, but there's a lot of women complaining about sexual harassment in the metaverse and virtual reality.
On Roblox.
That they probably
There you
can't.
go.
Nobody probably sexually harasses them in the real world, and that's what the real problem is.
Yeah, I mean, you have these, these kids going on there groping their virtual reality bodies, their avatars. And,
yes.
and the girls are like, "Oh my god!" But I saw this funny tweet from Tyler, the Creator, like 10 years ago. Somebody was posting it. He was like, "I don't get how people get cyberbullied. You can literally turn the computer off and go outside."
Yeah.
Same thing with virtual reality. It's like, if you feel like you can literally leave, you can go to a different place within seconds. I have an Oculus headset, so it's like,
have you been messing with it?
A little bit, but not much. I've only used it like twice.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting one of those.
I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
I say we all do the Oculus and do this.
We'll roll the dice, and whoever gets the wrong number has to wear it the whole time. Sorry.
No. I mean, we could. There. I've talked with people who actually produce shows in VR, so I could ask them how we could really do that. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's going to be a big thing. We've talked about this at the beginning of MOT, is getting into virtual reality. But yeah, the topic specifically that we wanted to talk about in virtual reality is not so much sexual harassment. When you can just literally take off the Oculus headset. We wanted to talk about the World Economic Forum having a leadership role in the metaverse.
What is the World Economic Forum? Where
a bunch of rich people go to talk about shit, what they're going to do with the world.
It's the World Economic Foreskin. That's what I call it.
I don't. Well, a lot of them are Jewish, so I don't think that they have foreskin.
That's what's left of it.
Yeah, they just bring a pile of their. Anyway, it's disgusting. Anyway, Jesus.
I'm just
the leader. The leader makes a mask.
Oh my god! I don't even know. He's like, Jesus.
I have a very active imagination.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I have an active imagination too.
Look at his shirt. That explains a lot.
I love this.
It was made out of foreskin. Dude, are you a Nazi? Are you a Nazi? Apparently,
I should definitely not say that.
Yeah, like.
Oh
boy.
boy.
There's rumors. There's allegations that Nazis were.
You guys are gonna get us in trouble.
Doing things with. Yeah, this is why we've been shadow banned. Like, we just talk, man. And the internet doesn't like it. Which is why we're going to be making NFTs for this kind of content. That way we're uncensorable. We cannot be censored. And you guys can make money off of it. It's just a beautiful system. Anyway. Meta, a.k.a. Facebook, announces the World Economic Forum will have a leadership role in the metaverse.
In their metaverse?
In the
Well, because all these different virtual worlds aren't connected.
Well, the ultimate goal is for them to be interoperable. So yes, The ultimate goal is for connectivity.
So they're basically saying that that we need to stop giving them our content now.
Yeah.
So that was Facebook. Meta themselves have said that in their because they're making their own virtual world. What's it called? Do you happen to know?
I think it's just Meta. I actually know it's Horizon.
Okay.
Let's see.
So that they're going to have the World Economic Forum is going to be the leaders of Facebook. Is that basically what they say?
No, they're saying the metaverse.
The metaverse.
Yeah. So in general, not just theirs.
Okay.
There's no there.
But they're giving them an open welcome, like make your headquarters here.
There's a bunch of countries that are making headquarters in the metaverses right now. Because there are definitely going to be multiple metaverses. But I think ultimately, when it's all said and done, there's going to be
I think it would just be called the metaverse. Would be all of them. And
yes.
Maybe there's different verses,
like
mini verse.
Yeah, mini verses. Right. So we'll read a little bit more of this article. So it says the World Economic Forum is on track to be at the center of defining what the future metaverse will look like by inserting itself in the metaverse creation early on. WEF. We get another comment or something.
Yeah.
The soy boy.
Yeah. Well, it's the same one. Yeah, we're not getting a whole lot. Is that number in the top right the number of people watching? The two.
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we probably have more stuff. I just can't see it. So
Yeah.
we'll work on that. We got to come up with a plan.
So the World Economic Forum's multi-stakeholder initiative wants to assume a leadership role in defining and building the metaverse. And so this is the president of global affairs and former British deputy prime minister, Nick Clegg, wrote the following on Twitter. It says, building the metaverse requires work across industry to inform best practices and governance principles and ensure these technologies are built responsibly. The WEF's new multi-stakeholder initiative announced today will play a leadership role in that work. What do you guys think about that?
I'm not really surprised. I'm surprised Facebook's taking the lead. All the corruption stuff they've been accused of. Like,
yeah, they're starting to make a hardware store as well for like virtual reality and AR glasses.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, who's really making the stuff though? I mean, they're not manufacturing it.
I don't know what
the
manufacturing is.
Which is why, back to the car thing, Tesla. Yeah, I think Tesla's a very diverse company. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla jumps into the metaverse soon.
It probably will.
They make their own chips for their cars. I think that's really going to help Tesla, not struggle as much with these shortages. Mm-hmm. They make satellites and all kinds of stuff. That I'm not like promoting Tesla. I don't personally trust Elon Musk. I think that he works for the government.
He does. He's part of the World Economic Forum.
Is he really? Is it just because he's the richest guy?
No,
that automatically you're granted. He's like, I don't want to do it.
No, there's a whole conspiracy behind it, but yeah, like young World Economic Forum leaders.
When you hear of like World Economic Forum, you don't hear about like Elon Musk.
You don't. It's very
hush.
But it's legit, yeah. And there's a lot of world leaders who were essentially groomed by Klaus Schwab, and he's the founder and creator of the World Economic Forums.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. Metaverse is going to be a thing, and I personally think right now it's just all for entertainment purposes. I mean, have you thought about the metaverse much, James? Like a virtual world?
Not really. Just as
we're in the metaverse right now. We're recording.
Yeah,
through them.
They say that the metaverse is going to take over the internet. It's like the internet
2.0. It's like entwined.
Yeah, it's
only thing. Basically, all the metaverse is just 3D. But then also you're going to have the haptic feedback,
Well, they're going to structure it to be more than just that. I was just reading something on here about working in the metaverse.
You can already kind of do that right now in crypto. There's play to earn, so you can earn.
You can play video games to earn money, but that's not really work.
Yeah. No,
producing something to help sustain life.
But does it really work to just be a paper pusher in an office either? It's just another bullshit job, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, what are you doing? I mean, if you're working at like a warranty place what do you mean? Like, give me an example. You were saying
example of what?
A paper pusher at a job. What do you mean?
So I mean, like, what?
Or just any job?
Like, what if you're just doing like customer service and you're not really bringing any value? Like,
well, you're still bringing value,
kind of. But it's still
the customer the business would go under if they didn't have customer service. They'd probably
not necessarily.
Well, what if they accidentally sold someone the wrong stuff and they do that so many times they could get a lawsuit? There's a need for that.
Yeah, but you can automate that too, and.
Well, you could.
So I feel like a lot of bullshit jobs are going to be.
But then somebody has to build that the shit that
Yeah, so I get it. Like there's.
That's my whole argument against the metaverse jobs. That it's all just for entertainment purposes right now.
Yeah. I mean, right now for sure. But
so we're on the beginning of it. Could be a good time to invest in some meta land or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but what land to invest in is the big question because there have been lands for sale for a long time in the digital world. Second Life is a very old game. And
dude,
you could buy lands.
I swear I used to play that shit.
I've heard of that game.
I swear I used to play that game back like before Obama was president. Like, and you started off as like a caveman or some shit.
I don't know.
This was a long ass time ago. It's probably changed a lot, but I swear I used to play a game like that. I had like a virtual wife and shit too. This was a long time ago, and but it was nothing weird. Like it was just a game. It was more of a joke than anything.
Sure.
My brother was like, "You're a dumbass," but you would log in every day, and then you would just build up slowly your life. But I swear it was called Second Life or something like that.
Well, I got a little graph here that shows how open people are to working. That they believe that they will be working in the metaverse in the next next couple years. They got it broken down by generations. So Gen Z,
What's the title of that so I can look it up too? So I can show it on YouTube and everything.
Webforum.org.
What's it say at the top of the page?
will the metaverse lead to meta work?
You can keep reading. I just wanted to see what that is.
So they got Gen Z, 51% of them thinking that they'll be working on the in the metaverse within the next couple of years. 48% of millennials, 37% of Gen Xers, and this number kind of impressed me. 28% of boomers think that they're going to be working in the metaverse.
28% of boomers.
That's pretty nuts.
That is really nuts. Let's see.
And that was based on 31,000 full-time employed or self-employed workers.
Did it specify like what kind of work they would be doing in the metaverse?
Nope, they just said working in the metaverse at some capacity.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a real thing. I think we're going to have this parallel economy that's created, and it's already created right now. And I have a, I don't know, it's something that I've floated around. I haven't really heard anybody comment on it. That is, I think that a lot of the economic woes are going to be pushed onto the digital economy, and that's how we're going to be able to keep kicking the can down the road. So with the metaverse, you have these digital assets that you can buy, and then you have a multitude of cryptocurrencies that you can earn, sell, mine, stake, etc. And you're still going to need like a stable coin and something to do with the dollar, something to do with a tangible currency. So I think that this will give them the excuse to be able to print more money to pump up the economy in the metaverse, which will then allow for inflation to continue in the metaverse, and then you'll have sort of a deflation happening in real life.
So you're talking about printing more digital money?
I'm talking about printing more money in general. So both digital money and physical money will be allowed to be printed because you could give out loans, you could buy new digital assets in the digital world.
Well, we did a story a few weeks back about that one company that's willing to give people mortgages with crypto. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, we didn't actually do the story, but yeah, so I think there's something with that. So let's...
Something about they got to give them like 20% of the houses or the property's value up front, and they must maintain, the crypto that they're using has to stay at a certain price, or they're going to have to give them cash for it.
Yeah, so it's right here. So crypto-backed mortgages let borrowers use their cryptocurrency as collateral to purchase a home. You don't need to sell your assets to get one of these mortgages, meaning you'll avoid tax consequences. If the value of your cryptocurrency falls too, your lender may liquidate your assets. So, yeah, I mean, it's very risky. But, yeah, so I think that's what's going to allow the economy to keep going is these digital assets. Because I don't think we're going to see a collapse of the economy, which is why I'm not really big into gold and silver anymore, because I don't think that we're going to see a collapse. I think we're going to more so see a transfer, growth in the economy. That's what I think. I could be way wrong. I'm not an economist. Hi. Somebody says SHIB up 10%.
Yeah, I knew I should have bought that on Friday.
I thought you said you did.
And somebody, this is from earlier, V-Room.
No, I bought Doge.
Will pay $3,000 more than what I paid for my car brand new. It's awesome. That goes back to the auto shortage. But yeah.
How much will they give for a 99 Yukon?
I don't know. You'd have to go check it out.
I was asking that guy.
Oh yeah, I think it might be your brother, Jose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as SHIB going up 10%, yeah, whatever.
There's my phone.
Coinbase
Pay them to take it.
Don't give Coinbase your money. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got that bullshit where you gotta hold your money in there. They usually say, hey, just keep the money in the account, and then we'll take it out at this time, but just make sure you have that money in the account. So I don't know why they didn't do that for you, but yeah, Hex is down tremendously. I don't know where it's at right now.
Dude, it was up a lot. Was it up?
Yeah, I think it was up like yesterday. You texted me. It was up like 30%.
Where's Doge at?
Now it's down to 8%.
How much is it worth right now?
0.075.
So it's still
So,
up quite a bit from
It's up from the 5 cents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Anyway, I probably would have bought it at.
You
9
didn't even
cents.
look at for me,
No,
man.
Doge. I'll look at that on here.
I gotta hurry up to where if I gotta sell it. No, I just jumped into it over the weekend.
Doge is up right now, 0.082 cents.
Oh shit!
But how much?
Yeah. I don't encourage.
The only thing you can use
Crazy.
Doge for is to buy jerseys of the Dallas Mavericks, but
Not-
they're probably
not-
about to lose.
No, here's
Just-
no. You can buy movie tickets.
Yeah, allegedly. I haven't used it before, so I don't know. That's what they say.
You can here coming up soon. You'll be able to buy Elon stuff, merchandise for Tesla, and
He said-
merchandise.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
What's going to come first, that or Pulse Chain? Oh, shots fired.
Yeah, probably that. You know, I've been in Pulse Chain for like over a year, still waiting for it to come out. It's been over a year now, but hey, it is what it is. You know,
So yeah,
that's software for you, apparently. Oh yeah, and there was something else that we wanted to cover, but we'll cover that next week. It's not that big of a deal. But that's
You don't want to go over that since we were talking
What
about
was it?
crypto.
oh, I mean, we already are talking about crypto.
Russia
so,
considering accepting Bitcoin.
So yeah, I guess it is a good segue. So let's switch over to what we were talking about.
if they're
here.
gonna if Russia accepts Bitcoin, that's what's gonna destroy crypto.
For its
That-
oil and gas imports.
That's gonna crash like crazy. If
Why?
They let that. Why? Because then the government's really gonna crack down on it. I mean,
But then what are they going to do with it? Venice or El Salvador and the other
Probably
countries that are
invade them.
using it. The U.S. government is not strong enough to do that right now.
Really, El Salvador's gone bankrupt since they did the whole Bitcoin thing.
Yeah, they did it at a horrible time.
Yeah,
They definitely should have
They
did
did it at,
during
like, the
this-
all-time
don't-
highs,
Yeah,
didn't
it's
they?
stupid.
Dude, that would
Stupid.
be so crazy if. I'm surprised they're not already doing that. To be honest with you, Russia, is that a real thing?
Yeah.
So right here it says Russia moles allowing cryptocurrency for international payments.
So they're
The
talking
main
about.
purpose of this is to circumvent sanctions,
Well,
to
yeah.
get around the sanctions.
Well, yeah, and that's why I feel like if that were to actually be a thing, then the government would then the U.S. government would be like, we cannot allow this
No,
illegal
but
activity.
But the thing is, what I'm seeing here, that only friendly countries with Russia will have the option to do
Yeah,
that. which
everybody
is
else has to
China
pay
and
ruble.
Turkey.
Oh, so
And Iran.
that's weird.
and-
Why would they? Well, I guess they don't want to destroy crypto. Maybe that's why.
Or they just don't want to do deals with
No,
the-
they want to make their enemies pay in ruble,
Yeah.
and so that way they're taking, the U.S. dollar's power away. They're just basically like there's a split in the economy right now. Russia and China are basically carving their own kind of economy out.
So they actually have a overhaul cryptocurrency draft bill over there that was presented in February by the Ministry of Finance. They got a Ministry of Finance over there?
Don't we? We
Yeah, we have a
got the treasurer.
treasurer.
Yeah, we got everybody does. And you got to have someone in charge of the money.
Yeah, Janet Yellen is a charge of
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
terrible.
We have Jerome Powell.
Yeah, the federal chairman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
So-
think that's, kind of bullish for crypto, and it just shows
Oh.
like more real world use cases for it.
That they're talking about Russia, that bill would put regulations on cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
When did this come out? Is this why crypto's been down so much?
No,
Is this
No,
like-
this is in February.
no, this has been talked about for a while, but articles just come out recently about it. Like they just recently spoke about it. They basically are saying like, yo, if we ban, this is a quote from who is this? Their finance minister. If we ban cryptocurrency, then we need to ban the internet. We don't use the methods that China uses, so they're kind of
Then they need to ban the internet. They said.
yeah. Well, in order to ban cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
which is true. I mean,
Well, they wouldn't have to ban the internet. They just have to create a new one where you can only access certain things, like because whenever you type something in on a browser, they could just make it to where you can only access certain websites. and shit
yeah,
like
but
that.
if you already have your crypto, then
Well,
There's
if they
ways to
switch it up,
exchange it.
they're like, we don't offer that internet anymore, sir. Just like cable companies take off channels. Like, we don't offer that anymore.
Yeah, but there's so many ways to go against it. Like, you don't think that really smart people who know how to code, who know how to hack, can
Well, yeah, I'm
bypass
just saying,
this
that's just
and
me.
then create a
personally.
whole nother account? I mean, look at the dark web.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but there's a lot of people who are like going to be like, why would I even mess with crypto if I have to go on the dark web for it? You know,
Maybe.
just like you were saying.
Especially depending on how bad the economy gets, especially how bad their government is, it may lead them to do those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've said in the past that you think that the regulation stuff is a bullish case because it allows them to, like, more people can get into it because it's more accepted and whatnot.
And
Well, if something like that were to happen to where you have to go on the dark web to do crypto, I think that would make a lot less people.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. It's not going to go back to the dark web. I think the regulations are going to be bullish simply because they're going to make it more accessible for the average person. Most people do not want to put in the time. You know, I put in hours and hours just to understand this shit before I got invested in it. Most people aren't going to put that time in. Most people don't have that time. Most people don't have the attention span. But what they do know is that you can make mad gains in crypto. It is real to get very rich in crypto after one bull cycle if you were in there for one bear cycle. Very, very rich.
I'm sure
No people that do it have done it, rather. So people want a piece of that. And so then if you increase the regulation, you make it easier to get in. But by that time, I don't think the gains are going to be as high as they are right now or as they were a few years ago, you know? But it's going to make it more accessible for people. And people are going to want a place where they can actually save their money, which Hex is a savings account. It's like, yo, you can put your money in there for a year, get 20, 30% interest yield. You can't get that from the bank.
Whenever you do your taxes, does that count as a long-term?
Yeah, I mean, it's if it's over a year, it's 6 months or a year, it's long-term capital gains, which is one of the best tax brackets to be in.
Do you get like a paper you print out from?
No, you gotta have all that shit to your accountant. I mean, especially if you're doing DeFi, there's like no real way. You gotta have your own software. You gotta have your own tracking.
So you just don't. Then how do you report it? You have to write it down and then just give it to them.
I mean, you give them your log. You can give them your transaction list. You can get there's a software that you could use to track all your transactions, and then you give them all the list of your transactions. And then they tell you what you're going to do, what you're going to pay, if anything. So, I mean, it's just a lot of gray area in crypto.
All right. I think that's it for today.
Yeah. So be sure to tune in Monday through Friday for the Honest Hour at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturdays, we have MOT Sports making a comeback with Mick and James. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then here, Sundays, MOT Today, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for supporting. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace
Much
out,
love.
Peace out, my fam.
Peace.